Hey, Maga. Yeah, hey, y'all gonna have to come up off. You gotta take the America off all y'all America First stuff. Yeah, America gotta come off. Yeah, it gotta come off officially. Matter of fact, I got some scissors. Right here. You can cut that stitching right off.
This White House is on its way to being the most corrupt in the history of the country. And just because they are doing it out in the open for everybody to see doesn't mean that it's not corrupt.
Oh, this about to be good. Hey, shout out to all of the subscribers and members here on the channel. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. Is that Jussie JD Vance over there? Man, this ain't even about you. No, go sit down. Matter of fact, stand up. I don't want you on my couch. And while you're over there, I want you to see something.
JD Vance follows accounts on Twitter that are so racist you can't even talk about them on TikTok. A couple of days ago, I posted a video in which I read aloud some of the tweets from one of the people that JD Vance follows on Twitter, and TikTok actually took it down because it was too racist. I'm appealing that takedown because I think this is important public information, but in the meantime, you deserve to know what the vice president is reading and who he follows. So I'm going to put screenshots of some of those tweets, some of the language, and you decide for yourself whether this is something the vice president should be engaged in. So here's one. And here's one. And here's one. And here's one. These are all from a well-known Twitter white supremacist, recently unmasked by a journalist at the Daily Dot. JD Vance follows this account. The Vice President of the United States follows this account. People deserve to know the ideas that their elected officials, their national elected officials, are trafficking in. It needs to be spread far and wide that this is the kind of material that JD Vance engages with online. That these are the sort of ideas that he thinks are worth listening to.
Now that's called showing receipts. And by the way, we will circle back around to this idea. One of the more annoying things over the course of the last couple months has been all of this discourse about the Democrats. You have factions saying, I don't think they're doing enough, and you have complaints that they're doing way too much.
What was the reason and what was the basis of your support for censure?
We have a clear strategy on how to defeat Donald Trump. That is to make sure the American public understands what Donald Trump is doing, how it is going to hurt their lives, how it is going to be inflationary, how it is not helping them. When we act as individuals, that draws attention away. That is exactly what Donald Trump wanted to do. Let's act as a team. Let's win the elections in 2026. Let's make sure the American public knows the actions that he's taking and how it's hurting American families.
So you said that you're a friend of Representative Green. Have you talked to him? Have you spoken with him? Have you gotten an idea from him as to why he thinks that what he did was actually the correct action?
I mean, I've not been able to speak to him since he took the action. Again, I agree with drawing attention to the fact that Republicans want to dismantle Medicaid, take billions of dollars out of Medicaid to give tax cuts to the rich, to give tax cuts to corporations. But there's a better way to do this. There's a better way to draw attention to that. And that's not drawing attention to ourselves. That's making sure the public is focused on Donald Trump and his actions.
President Trump praised Senator Schumer for having the, quote, guts to do the right thing, calling his support of the spending bill a smart move. How will that sit, you think, with House Democrats?
Well, again, I don't think we should be moving in any way to elicit praise from Donald Trump, who has no respect for Congress and the power of the purse, who is by the hour rolling out proposals and executive actions that are lawless and that are callous. We do not want to be praised by Donald Trump. This is a hostile government takeover. He is a dictator. And what do you meet a dictator with? Defiance. The Democrats can't only be the adults in the room. We have to be the fighters too.
Now put me squarely in Group A. I have absolutely no problem with the wilding that I have seen. What do they say? If you have the votes, pound the votes. But if you don't have the votes, turn the table over?
Constitution whore, you are f***ing engaged 19 times? You stupid coming to my job!
Isn't that what they say? I don't know exactly what strategy rolling over and playing dead is, but I would love to hear what the long-term prognosis for that is. See, the idea is that one day, magically, Maga will come to the realization that they were wrong all along. We don't have to say, matter of fact, the quieter we can be, the better. You know, we just want to stay out of sight. We don't trust ourselves to be able to communicate effectively at this particular point in time. So we just gonna fall, but we just gonna listen. We just gonna listen. Now, there have been those that have objected to the Al Greens and the AOCs, and namely the Jasmine Crockett's, for a variety of reasons, and perhaps it's not in how the message was conveyed, but in the message. Because I would like to introduce you to Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy, who embodies every bit the savagery of the aforementioned group, but comes in a little different package. Maybe you can swallow that a little bit better. Now, I would say I wasn't familiar with Chris Murphy's game, but after the whole DEI debate, I became familiar with Chris Murphy's game.
Listen, it was disgusting. Disgusting because, diversity is the polite way to talk about his complaint. What he is saying is that the only people who are competent to run anything in this country are white men. That's what he's saying. He's saying that because the FAA has hired women and black people, that our nation's safety is at risk. It's kind of incredible that a president of the United States can say that. Instead of actually explaining why he left the FAA leaderless and without any direction, in chaos, he's blaming black people and blaming women who work at the FAA without any evidence. Of course, he has no evidence that that's true, because it's not true.
And on this question of DEI, I think the thing that we can do is just call it out every single time for what it is. It is white male supremacy. Every single time they say DEI, say what it is. And they aren't even trying to hide what it is. They aren't even trying to hide what it is. Within hours of that plane crashing, they basically came out and said the reason that this country isn't safe is because we have women and people of color working in airports and the FAA. They're not even trying to hide what they're doing here. At West Point, they shut down all the ethnic clubs except for the white European ethnic clubs. They're not trying to hide what they're doing. So don't let them get away with this. Call it out for what it is, because people do not support that.
And you know what's funny? I haven't heard a single comment about Chris Murphy being used. The way that they said that the Jasmine Crockett was being used by the Democrats. I haven't heard any of that about Chris Murphy. But while you're here, Chris, if you could put together like just a nice little spreadsheet, something that looks real pretty on the timeline. Oh, there we go. A 6-week timeline of corruption. Exactly what we needed. We got a golf deal for Trump's properties. We got Eric Adams quid pro quo on here. We got gutted the watchdog, a billionaire tax cuts, the crypto reserve fund, Musk Starlink giveaway. We got $5 million one-on-one Trump meetings. I remember when we used to have those conversations about would you like a huge lump sum payment or dinner with Jay-Z, and Trump saw that and was like, both of them. Yeah, both of them. Yeah, I'm getting the money for the dinner. Legalized bribes by foreign governments, juice Trump's media stock price. Well, that certainly was temporary. And if you thought he was done with just the PowerPoint, if you thought he was just done with the Kinko's work, oh no.
The things that have happened over the last 6 weeks are unprecedented. The president and his billionaire friends are not supposed to steal from us. They are not supposed to use their power and their access to power, their access to government levers to rig the rules to enrich themselves. That has always been wrong. It is still wrong, and we do not have to accept this. And so in the next few minutes, I want to try out an exercise. I want to try to lay out for you, as quickly as I can, just some of the most significant instances of blatantly corrupt activity that's happened in just the first 6 weeks of Trump's presidency. When you see it all together, there is no way to avoid a simple conclusion. This White House is on its way to being the most corrupt in the history of the country. And just because they are doing it out in the open for everybody to see doesn't mean that it's not corrupt.
Oh, this is about to be good. Yeah, I love a good promo. Yeah. Go on.
We're going to start on January 17th. On January 17th, Trump launches the meme coin. This is maybe the most corrupt of all the acts, because what is the meme coin? The meme coin is essentially a mechanism by which Russian oligarchs or corporate CEOs can literally send money privately directly to Donald Trump. Nobody knows who buys the meme coin, but Trump makes money when people buy it. And so it is just an open sewer valve that allows for anybody who is trying to influence the Trump administration to be able to secretly funnel money to Donald Trump. He reserves 80% of the coin. He waits to release that coin until the price jumps back up again, which essentially means he's waiting for people who want favors from him to buy a bunch of the coin to inflate the value so that he releases more and makes more money. It's a disgusting kind of corruption, because this is essentially Trump just posting his Venmo for anybody secretly to wire him as much money as they want. We've never seen something like this before, where anybody who has anything to gain from the Trump administration through a manipulation of the value of Trump's meme coin can funnel money directly to the president, whisper in his ear, that was me that purchased all that coin, that jumped up the value, that allowed you to release new coin. Hey, take care of me on the back end.
And at this point, I would just like to comment on how wild and unhinged the administration would have to be for something like that to fall by the wayside. We don't even talk about that. I make videos every single day, and I haven't even gotten back around to that. And speaking of not getting back around to that, Maga, because I know y'all love a good conspiracy theory. Yep. Because I know some of y'all lost money. You ashamed to admit it, but we didn't buy that meme coin.
On February 6th, something absolutely stunning happens. Pam Bondi, the AG, issues a memorandum in which she proposes to dull the criminal enforcement of the Foreign Agents Registration Act. If you are representing a foreign government before the United States, you have to register so that we know if you are acting on behalf of American interests or you are acting on behalf of foreign interests. In the prior Trump administration, Trump officials got in big trouble for secretly working for and getting paid by foreign governments without registering. Well, what does Trump announce? That they are going to limit the applicability of the enforcement of that statute, making it much easier for Trump's friends, for his Maga crowd, for the people who show up to Mar-a-Lago, to get paid quietly by foreign governments in order to influence Donald Trump.
Hey, MAGA. Yeah, hey, y'all gonna have to come up off, you gotta take the America off all y'all America First stuff. Yeah, America gotta come off. Yeah, it gotta come off, officially. Matter of fact, I got some scissors right here. You can cut that stitching right off. America gotta come off of all your America First stuff. And matter of fact, we gonna have to take it off the MAGA hats as well. Yeah, matter of fact, if you wanna keep the A, so it's MAGA, you just gotta find something else for that to represent. You know, Albania or Algeria or something like that.
On February 10th, maybe aside from the meme coin, the most stunning act of corruption, the Eric Adams quid pro quo, in which Eric Adams, indicted for corruption, is let off the hook. His charges are dismissed in exchange for the mayor's pledge of political loyalty to Donald Trump. They literally went on TV and announced the deal that we're getting rid of the charges against Eric Adams as long as the mayor pledges political loyalty to the president. That was so corrupt that 6 or 7 DOJ officials resigned because they refused to withdraw those charges. But the deal went through because the 7th or the 8th or the 9th official finally filed the withdrawal. And now in America, it is 100% clear that if you want to get away with corruption, if you want to steal from your constituents and you're an elected official in this country, all you have to do is just sign up for political loyalty with Donald Trump, and he will instruct the Department of Justice to let you get away with it.
And I know y'all remember all of that. Yeah, not a pardon, just a dismissal of charges that they could bring back up at any point in time, just dangling that in front of Eric Adams. But if I'm being honest, I don't think Eric Adams gonna make it. Cause you heard what he sounds like now.
This is a biblical moment. You know, when Jesus was on the cross, he said, "God, forgive them, for they know not what they do." All these Negroes who are asking me to step down, God, forgive them. Are you stupid?
That brother out here delivering Chicken George monologues in 2025. Sad.
On February 26th, maybe the third most significant of brazen corruption happens. News breaks that Elon Musk is just going to have the FAA cancel a contract with Verizon that has been in the works for years and instead just substitute in Starlink for Verizon. Just extraordinary that this is happening in plain view of everybody. Elon Musk takes his private company, uses his access to government to just shove out of the way his competitors and instead insert himself and his company. Again, we've never seen this ever before in American history. Now it's happening on a daily basis.
And now, just to echo something that I said earlier about the Trump administration, Elon Musk, do you know how problematic he has to be that you have people flocking to MAGA town halls to shout him down?
Like him or not, Elon Musk has brought a lot of really smart people to DOGE. And
you have Tesla stock tanking. You have chargers on fire. You have people having to put Toyota on the back of their Tesla truck so that it won't be vandalized. That's how disliked Elon Musk is. And they have no idea about this. That's what I'm saying. Do you know how problematic you gotta be that we got files and we have a deep bench of objectionable actions that ain't even got in the game yet?
This week, Wired reports that guests are paying millions of dollars to dine with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and business leaders are being targeted with advertisements that sell access to a one-on-one meeting with the President of the United States for $5 million. Come on. Like, seriously. There's advertisements that say if you're a business CEO and you pay $5 million to Donald Trump, you can get a meeting with him. Like, this isn't okay. And yet, because it happens every single day, they're asking for us to pretend that this is normal.
What they serving? Huh? I need to know what they serving. I wouldn't pay $5 million for dinner with Donald Trump unless they gave me a plate with $10 million on it.
So I lay it all out for you this afternoon in the hopes that it is not too late for us to decide to stand up as a body and as a nation to say that this isn't okay. The Trump meme coin is not okay. It's not okay for people who have interest before the federal government to be able to anonymously funnel money to the President of the United States. It's not okay for Elon Musk to have access to Department of Labor enforcement data against him or his competitors that nobody else gets access to. It's not okay to just cancel contracts that were going to Musk's competitors and substitute in his own business just because he has the ability to do it as a friend of Donald Trump. Like, the rule of law matters. Doing things by the rules matter. This level of corruption was not occurring behind the scenes prior. It is not just that the cover got pulled off of it all. And it's our decision as a body and as a country to decide not to normalize this scale of corruption.
Chris Murphy done went harder than Bridgeport after dark. Now, I don't know if that level of corruption was going on behind the scenes in the past, but it's going on in the open air right now. Matter of fact, Chris Murphy, hey, Chris, you saw what they did in front of the White House. They did a whole car commercial in front of the White House after you did this.
It's Donnie Clown Show down here at Easy Elon's used car lot, where the prices are low, 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 just like the stock market. Come on down and get a Tesla before they catch on fire. Before they're gone.
No, that's what I call a fire sale.
Hello, President Trump. Are you looking to buy or lease today?
Well, I'm going to buy, and I'm going to buy because, number one, it's a great product, as good as it gets, and number two, because this man has devoted his energy and his life to doing this. I think he's been treated very unfairly by a very small group of people. And I just want people to know that you can't be penalized for being a patriot. And he's a great patriot. And he's also done an incredible job with Tesla. And I mean, nobody else has a car company started up in the last 30 years that's been successful. I don't think so. And not only successful, but super successful. And because he's able to find billions and billions and billions of dollars of fraud and waste and all of the things. I mean, our country is going to be very strong very soon because of a lot of the things that he's done and a lot of the things that I'm doing. And there's no better team, but there's no better for what we're doing. There's nobody like this, and he shouldn't be penalized. And when I watched the other day, I said, I can't believe it. It should be the opposite. People should be going wild, and they love the product, but because he's finding all sorts of terrible things that have taken place against our country, they want to penalize him in an economic sense. And I just think that's very unfair. So I just wanted to make a statement. I'm going to buy one. Now, here's the bad news. I'm not allowed to drive because I haven't driven a car in a long time, and I love to drive cars. But I'm going to have it at the White House, and I'm going to let my staff use it. I'm going to let people at the place use it. And they all are all excited about that. I'm not allowed to use it. Can you believe it? One of my great things in life is that I can, I like to drive cars, but I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, just a everyman who can't drive, but says, quote, I like to drive cars. Yeah, I can remember, hanging out with my buddies and they talk about how much they, quote, like to drive cars. Hey, Maga. Hey, you remember all those Weekend at Bernie memes you had about Joe Biden? Guess what? He can drive cars. Yeah, he can drive cars. Yeah, we got the footage and everything. No assistance. Just walk, just in the car. Yeah, but that's your strong man. That's your relatable everyman right there. Is that what that is?
This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer.
And let's also not let it go unmentioned the fact that he's talking about how Elon Musk shouldn't be penalized for being a patriot. They should be going wild. So you readily admit that it's okay for there to be some correlation between how people perceive his political actions and his company. You're fine with it. because they should be going wild. Your objection is that it's negative. So it's not the correlation that's the problem. It's the specific reaction. And there isn't a more clear-cut case of trying to suppress dissent than that. You just laid it all out for us. And not to mention the fact that you also went and talked about hurting an American company. Did you not? You talked about hurting an American company. So that's fine for you to do. If you just so decide that a company is a little bit too woke for your taste, that's fine for you to do, but not for it to happen to Elon Musk, the South African, bringing in the other white South Africans. Yeah, give me that America first. Let me have it. Let me have it. Oh, here comes the backlash. Dem Senator Chris Murphy caught cuddling on a date with progressive media publisher. A New York Post. Actually, let me refer to you by your government name. Fox News. A Fox News New York Post. You sure you want to go there? Huh? You sure this is the world that you would like to explore? Is that? Because I could do a whole, you know what I mean? I could do a whole thing if you want. We would just talk about Elon Musk. Show me Chris Murphy's secret, baby. You know what I mean? Is that what you want to do? How you want to carry it? How you want to carry it? But in bringing us full circle, we just saw the lengths that Donald Trump will go with regards to his protection of Elon Musk and Tesla, or attempted protection anyway. I don't know that was helpful. I'll be perfectly honest. So doubling down on politicizing Tesla, when Tesla has been negatively impacted by its connection to your administration, you double down on its connection to your administration. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know that that's really helpful. You know what I mean? So you just want the MAGAs to just run out and buy Teslas. Is that it? Because you know better. I don't even need to tell you why. You know better. Now, in his attempted protection of Elon Musk and Tesla, what we saw was a harbinger of things to come when it comes to his efforts to suppress dissent. And that's a place where we're going to stay. And that's a place where we're going to end with the case of Mahmoud Khalil, which Senator Murphy laid out quite flat.
A young man by the name of Mahmoud Khalil, an immigrant and a legal permanent resident of the United States, is being held right now in prison, even though no criminal charges have been filed against him. Now, I want to tell you why that should matter to every single American. Khalil is a recent graduate of Columbia University. He opposed Israel's military operation in Gaza. He has deep animus toward Israel's policies and the U.S. support for those policies. He helped organize the protests over Gaza at his university last year. You can disagree with his views or his politics, but there is no evidence he has broken any law. But last weekend, Trump officials entered his apartment and took him into custody. They brought him to a detention facility in New Jersey at first, but when his family went to visit him, he wasn't there. For a while, his family and his lawyer had no idea where he was. They eventually found out that he was being held in a detention facility in Louisiana, and that's where he still is today. In dictatorships, they call this practice being disappeared. No charges, no claims of criminal behavior. The White House doesn't claim he did anything criminal. He's in jail because of his political speech. And here's why everybody should care. In America, your political speech is protected, whether or not the president likes what you say. But today, if you're loyal to Donald Trump, your speech is going to be protected, even if it's hate speech. You can be Marco Ellis, an employee of DOGE, who said he, quote, was racist before it was cool, and, quote, normalize Indian hate. And the vice president of the United States will tweet in your defense. But if you are disloyal to Trump, or you're organizing against Trump's political agenda, your speech could be criminalized. You could find yourself in jail. Now, Trump chose to begin by disappearing a Palestinian immigrant, hoping that his place of birth and his immigrant status would just cause people to look the other way. But we cannot, because once it becomes normal for the regime to disappear people simply for protest against the regime's policies, once a citizen or a resident of America can be locked away with no charges against them simply because they protested, there is no going back for America. Even if you're a hardened Trump supporter, this practice should cross the line for you. Even if you disagree with Khalil's views, this practice should cross the line for you. This has nothing to do with supporting Trump. This is about supporting an American value, maybe the most important American value, protecting free speech, even if it's speech you disagree with. If our new reality is that a president can disappear an opposition protester with no charges filed against them, we are not America any longer. Today it's Mahmoud Khalil.
Tomorrow it's me or you. And once it becomes normal, there's no going back. That's the case with this case. That's the case with everything that Chris Murphy has laid out. And that is why I'm troubled. Sincere thanks to all of the subscribers and the members that have supported this channel. We just hit a new milestone, and that is 2,000 members. So I want to give you a sincere thank you to everybody that's a part of that 2,000. And with that comes first a celebration of the 2,000, but also regular members' lives. Be on the lookout for a poll that I'm going to send out to you guys on when you guys would most want to have these lives, because I want to do it when the most people can attend. It's really about time that we can have, a semi-private conversation outside of the prying ears of the algorithm, which also means it can get colorful and go exactly where you want it to go.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
No, not that. No, I knew what you was thinking. I knew you was going to take it there.
And it is time for it to stop. And it stopped on Tuesday.
I'm also going to start bringing guests and collaborating with other creators on my regular Tuesday lives. So if you have somebody else in this space, or another creator, or a comedian, or maybe just a poli-sci major you think I could have a really good conversation with, go ahead and send your suggestions to admin@reesewaters.com. You could also submit it at the portal on my website. That's also where you could sign up for the newsletter and see all the newest merch that we're rolling out, some brand new stuff on the horizon. But I want to come back to where I started and thank you guys for making this channel so much more than I ever thought possible.